everybody, today I'm going to be going over how to create your own shirts. So in this video I'm going to go through the step-by-step process as to what you need to make your shirts, as well as get it out to the customers. So I'm going to take a look at what you need, how to create a design, how to get your design onto your shirt or whatever article of clothing you want to put it on, and then actually get it out to the customer. So some of the things you're going to need is a Cricut Explorer, you're going to need vinyl, you're going to need grip mats, and a heat press. So once we connect our Cricut Explorer to the computer, we'll get access to something called the Cricut Design Space. Cricut Design Space is very versatile because you'll be able to upload your own images from Google. You have access to plenty of the stencils and designs from Cricut itself. Now, the only problem with this is you have to pay for the designs themselves unless you actually have some type of Cricut subscription. All right, so now you're ready to create your first design. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to Google Images. All right, we're gonna go find a smiley face. All right. Now, one thing to keep in mind is when you're creating these stencils and these designs, right? You wanna create something that's similar to an outline like this. Let's say you have a much more complicated image, right? You're not going to be able to create it because let's say I have medieval knight, right? So what I mean by this, I will save the image for you guys so I can give you an example. I would only get the outline of it because the machine itself isn't going to be able to cut all this unless I was to outline it, and that's just simply a lot of work. Now, I do have a lot of designs like Lily Munster and this vehicle here. Now, I'm going to emphasize this a little bit because it's a pretty cool trick, right? My friend wanted a shirt design of his truck. So what I did was I took the photo of the truck, I put it online, and I turned it from a photo to a sketch. Once I did that, I pretty much hollowed out all the spots and areas that weren't supposed to be in the design itself, right? And then I made the shirt from there. So that's just something to keep in mind. Right now, real quick, I'm going to show you this example. So let's go to complex. Boom. Here, come on. All right. There we go. Hold up. All right, there we go. So notice how this is an entire outline. Now it would be cool to have this outline, but I want the entire image. So if that being said, I'd have to delete this and that. And you notice how not all of the details are going to be able to stay, but most of it will. So notice how it's starting to come together. So that's what I mean by more complicated images, but that's why I typically use the easier outlines like this. So, all right. There we go. We got a smiley face. I didn't have to pay 99 cents for it. All right. We're going to upload this to the canvas now that we created it. All right. It's way too big. All right. We now have the smiley face. So we're going to create it and make our vinyl. All right. So before I get to the next clip of actually printing out the vinyl, please keep in mind, all right, make sure mirror is on. You want to make sure mirror is on. This is a smiley face, so I don't have to worry about it because it doesn't matter which way it goes. But if I have a more, let's say I have letters and I put the word burger, it would end up being backwards, right? So you want to put mirror so it actually cuts it the right way, especially with heat transfer vinyl. All right, so from here, go to continue. I'm going to turn on my Explorer Air 2, and I'm going to continue from there. Okay, so the Cricut machine is now on. Make sure that the setting for the material is iron on because that's what's going to be going onto our shirt. Other than that, we should be good. Now remember, when you're actually putting your vinyl onto the grip mat itself, make sure that it's the shiny side down, because that's where you're gonna transfer onto the shirt, and the regular matte side is where the actual design is gonna be cut. Next, you're gonna load up your mat into the Explorer. Then you're gonna press this button, which drags it in. After everything's set and loaded, you're gonna press go, and it should start cutting. Now it's time to place the design on the shirt. Now when placing a design on your shirt, the first thing you want to do is actually smoothing out the area that you're going to put the design on, but most importantly, spend time heating up the area where you're going to put it. And the reason for that is because you kind of want it to be a heat sandwich, so you have a heat below and on top of the design so that it actually sticks together to the material. Another thing to keep in mind when you're actually pressing your shirt is you don't want to always push down and create pressure. The reason being is because you'll probably end up scorching the shirt and leaving some type of weird mark, so be aware of that. Okay, now that the shirt is heated up, I'm gonna put the matte side down onto the shirt like this, stick it down, and simply continue to press. Now, another thing I also want to say is, let's say you have a shirt or a hoodie like Under Armour, and it has a logo that kind of sticks out and it protrudes. If you want to create a design on that and you want to put it on the back of the shirt or hoodie, whatever, you want to be careful, because when you press it, if you press over the logo, the imprint's going to come through the back. So the best way to counter that is to essentially put some type of barrier between that. So an example of something you could put between the shirt is a book. When you guys finally press your shirt, there's one thing I want you to remember, okay? You have to let the design cool down until it's somewhat lukewarm, right? Never let this design or any design cool down for longer than it has to be, and to the point where it's actually cool to the touch. The reason being is because once you start peeling it off of the shirt, you'll notice that it comes right off with the vinyl. You have to get it at that pitch perfect spot.